Hello, what is up? My name is Ben. Welcome back to the Ben Humphrey channel. Keon Pearson is one of the freakiest men alive. And if you don't think he's one of the greatest bodybuilders in the 212 division, then you need to watch this space very carefully. He started off as a classic physique competitor, and I'm going to show you his amazing journey from the classic physique division to the 212 Mr. Olympia. Keon started as a bit of a prodigy in the bodybuilding community, hence his Instagram handle, Keon Prodigy. At just 19 years old, he was already showing some incredible potential with insane insertions that you'd associate with someone who'd been bodybuilding for 10 plus years. And he was always the centre of a heated debate when he claimed natural, even competing in the classic physique, and a lot of people were backing him, showing he'd had blood tests stating that he was in fact taking no substances. A lot of people don't believe that, and we're not going to delve into that at all. However, looking at his transformation now into the 212 category, we could see that when he was competing in Classic Physique Olympia, he was nowhere near his muscle building potential, because he's gone on to increase the amount of mass on his frame by an astronomical amount. Here he is in the Classic division at 178 pounds, looking absolutely incredible, and he looks so much heavier than he actually is. One, it is because he is a shorter guy, being between 5'6", 5'7", but also his insane insertions make his muscles look even bigger than they are, the way they hang off his skeletal frame. He actually did very, very well on the Mr. Olympia stage in Classic Physique, but decided it wasn't for him and he didn't want to take that all the way. If he had stuck with that, I have no doubt in my mind that he'd be challenging Chris Bumstead for the title to this day. But he has moved on and committed to gaining more weight and filling out his frame as much as possible, and quite frankly, the new transformation photos he showed are incredible. He is looking like one of the freakiest guys on the Mr. Olympia stage, and he has a lot more growing still to do. In these recent transformation pics, you can see him standing with Flex Wheeler, one of the greatest competitors of all time and one of the most incredible physiques. And you can see it's night and day between the two. He looks like a completely different person, and it's crazy to see the actual transformation in his neck. I wouldn't recognise him as the same person. You can see the actual shape of his face has changed in the 4 years between the two. And that's not a lot of time, especially when you've been lifting for several years beforehand. To make that amount of progress in just 4 years is crazy. I mean, if I were to look at the progress I've made in 4 years, it would be very minimal. And that's with some really serious training and consistent training as well. He is one of these people that just can put on muscle with ease. Just take a look at his current physique now. He has filled out his frame entirely, and this is a picture that showcases that really well. Him standing next to Breon Ainsley, a former Classic Physique Mr. Olympia champion who did compete this year, and there's actually a good story behind him as well, because he's transitioning from that Classic Physique to 212, just like Keon himself. So it's really interesting to see the two compared, and Keon just looks like a completely different animal to Breon. Particularly in the lats, you can see how much thicker the muscle bellies are on Keon. And if this doesn't make you appreciate the size difference between the categories, then I don't know what will. But 212, you'd think, you know, you've got guys in Classic Physique that are actually heavier than 212 pounds. Yes, they may be slightly taller, but the way Keon holds his weight, it just looks more freaky than the Classic Physique guys. Don't get me wrong, he still has those great lines, and I really like the way Keon's shoulders flow into his arm muscles. It's quite aesthetically pleasing, and he still has the ability to pose really nicely and manoeuvre on stage with a really good routine. By no means do I think he's done growing and getting better, and he is labelled, in my eyes, as one of the top competitors in the 212 division. And who knows, maybe he'll do what the other guys are doing, like Derek Lunsford and William Bonac, and progressing from the 212 division up to the full-fledged Mr. O and competing at the highest level. Derek himself just placed second this year in the Mr. Olympia competition, so there's no reason that after a few years in the 212 that Keon might actually progress to that level as well. Let me know your thoughts on whether Keon can be a top competitor in the 212 division and whether you think he might actually even go on to win the Mr. O. If you did like, please leave a like at the bottom and consider subscribing to the Ben Humphrey channel. And I will see you in the next video. Take care of yourself. Bye.